Tyson and Dusty. Draper, not Draper, Lena. Now we know. Now we know. Hey, Draper boys, it's the Profiler Task Force, PTF. I'm Janine Driver. I just want to say a big thank you. We watched this morning. Your shout out to us. We're all texting each other. You know, we're new at this social media jazz. As Lena had said before, we come in blindsided with some of these. Oh, it fell. It's windy here. So with what we're doing, this was just our third episode, and I knew it got a lot of hype. Someone wrote to me on my social media platform asking about Suzanne. And when we know we say Morpho wrong, but it's Morphew, I think. I don't know. Everyone's trying to correct us. Anyway, big thank you to you, brothers. And if you're watching you're fans of ours, be sure to watch the Draper brothers. Pass it over to you, Lena. What's up, sister?
All right. Hey, guys, I have to thank you first for getting such valuable raw material, because that's exactly what I was able to analyze. So you did awesome job. It was brilliant. Thank you. Thank you. Michelle.
And I want to thank you so much. It was a great pleasure to hear. I watched your whole show. I loved it. And everybody watch the Draper brothers. Are they the Draper? Draper. Watch the Draper brothers. Go, and now for you, Susan.
Okay, I'm horrible with names, so I'm going to keep it in Tyson and Dusty. Thank you very much. One of the things that I felt more honored as part of the Profiler Task Force is when people take notes. And I love, Dusty, that you said that you took at least at the beginning of the show 2 pages of notes. So I would advise to everybody to take notes, because the information is great. And I'm going to read the name of your show because I have an accent. I'm going to mess it up. It's the Drapers Brothers Live. After this thank you note, you can see the piece. You're going to see the link to the show to then. Thank you very much. It's so great to see people, pairs of us, to mention us, to look in our show and taking note of our show. Is a huge shout out, and we feel so proud to be serving you guys. So, Janine?
Thank you. We love you so much. Thank you for your generosity.
Thank you.
Love you. Thank you. Well, we're going to get to the bottom of this case and find out what happened to Suzanne, because we've got people like you, good citizens wanting to make a difference in the world. You've inspired us to look at our world in a different way. All right, boys, thanks for all that you do. I'm on Delaware. Lena, where are you? You look like you're in a sailboat. Are you in a sailboat, sister?
Yeah, I'm on our sailboat, 80-degree weather. It's beautiful, Virginia Beach.
Michelle, where are you?
I'm in Pittsburgh sitting on my couch.
Where are you? You said it's cold where you are.
I'm in Indiana, 40 degrees, about to snow anytime soon. Crazy.
I'll stay here in Dover visiting my friend. All right, Draper brothers, thanks for all that you're doing. Love
Bye.
you.
Bye. Thank you.
These 4 women who are showing up new on the scene here, they're called the Profiling Task Force. And it's 4 women that released a video, I think it was yesterday or a couple days ago, about Suzanne Morphew. And I was real intrigued by this because these are professionals, number one. And number two, they went into this very unbiased. They didn't, study the case that much going into it. They just kind of got the basics and they kind of went by their gut feeling and stuff like that. So anyway, you guys, I would encourage you to go over and check out Profiler Task Force. And maybe we can put a link up or something if we have one. But if not, it's 4 women. And they're professional women. They're fantastic. And one of them's name is Janine, and she's a body language expert. And then Lena, she's an interrogator. And Michelle, she's a handwriting expert. And then Susan, she's a face reading expert. And go over there and check out that video, guys. It's everything that we've been saying since day one about Barry Morphew's body language, and also Suzanne's body language as well, as they look at photographs of her. Right, Dusty? What did you think of that? Did you like that?
Yeah, it was amazing. I wish I would have known about it a little bit earlier so I could have studied it more. But the amazing thing that I thought about it was we have no training whatsoever, and we just guess on stuff. We have gut feelings about stuff. Well, these women are trained to do different things, to find out if somebody's being deceptive or find out if somebody's handwriting tells you a little bit more. They read faces or whatever. And a lot of the stuff that they were saying is stuff that either we have brought up or our viewers have brought up. So it's pretty satisfying, I guess. I don't know what word to use, but it's pretty nice to hear somebody that backs up some of the things we say when they're experts on it. So I like that part of it for sure.
Oh, absolutely. That's exactly what I was thinking when I was watching it. I was like, man, I'm wondering what what the outcome's going to be, what their verdict's going to be. And so when they actually talked about, what they saw and the gut feeling that they had as they looked at these photographs and these videos and stuff, it was pretty reassuring that we've been on the right course all along. They didn't honestly, they didn't tell us anything that we didn't already know, but it was nice, like you said, to hear it from these professionals.
Oh, absolutely. And another thing I liked about, you mentioned this briefly, is they didn't go in with any preconceived notions they didn't even know who Barry was. So when they started analyzing this, like one lady, she, the one that read the faces, she went and got, her name was Susan, I believe, and she went and got pictures when they were first married, Suzanne and Barry, when they were first married. And then she got some later on in life and compared them and how their faces have changed and different things about their faces. And I thought that was really interesting. She said that she thought that Suzanne was the brains of the marriage, which, if you had a brain, I guess I'll be nice. But anyway, if I'm just saying, and then she said people that have a brain or have more intelligence tend to cover up their forehead with something. And it seemed like Suzanne always had like bangs or a hat on. If you can see, my forehead's not covered at all. So that'll tell you that there's no brains to be hidden here. But Suzanne, she was, but when they said when she did that, she was playing dumb, because it usually when you do that, it's because your partner is not as intelligent as you, and they get mad when when you show that intelligence. And I could see that, you definitely see that in this situation.
Yeah, I agree with you. And that's an interesting point that lady brought out. You see, and that's something that you and I and 99% of the population, we would never even consider something like that. But see, they have a trained eye, and it's amazing how quickly they can pick up on this kind of stuff and know not exactly, but have a really good idea of what the relationship was like, inside of Suzanne Morphew and Barry Morphew's relationship and in their home. They could tell a lot just by, like you said, the bangs and the little, I thought this was interesting. It was the same lady, Susan. It was Susan, and she talked about this little thing on this side, on the right side of Barry's face, and then also the eye. The eye was being covered kind of by the eyebrow, and it was only on that one side of the face. And as you looked at that picture, it was like, wow, I could have stared at that for 100 years and never realized that. So thank you so much for pointing that out. But it makes sense, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, she called it a chameleon eyebrow, is what she called it. And she said when people do that, you never know what's going on in their head, and they like to be in control. And what does that sound like? that nails Barry, as far as like to be in control. Everything we've heard from him is all control, control, control. As far as they even pointed out some of the stuff in your video when you recorded him. About him trying to control the narrative and stuff like that. So yeah, it's really, I loved listening to that. I'm looking forward to hearing more from these ladies, because they're truly, they've had years of experience, so they're truly intriguing. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was just nice learning about them. What was her name? The interrogator, I think her name was Lena. Or Lana, I'm not sure how to say it, but she was talking about how she watched my video, and she's like, I don't even know how to pronounce this guy's name. I don't know if it's Tyson Draper or Tyson Draper, but anyway, he got this video of Barry, and it was cool because it was like, I could tell she hasn't done a lot of research on this case, which was nice, because we wanted a fresh perspective from somebody that didn't know a lot about it. And in the end, again, they were spot on with their with their findings.
Oh yeah,
So
it was really neat. I listened to as much as I could before we started this, and I've got a page and a half of notes just from the little amount that we were able to watch before this. So yeah, I'm going to go back and study those for sure. Really, really interesting.
Well, let's keep those notes out. Let's kind of talk about some of that stuff that you saw, because I jotted down some notes as well. And what I found interesting from listening to Suzanne, of course, she went first, and so most of my notes are from hers. But she's the face reading expert, and she talked about how, like you mentioned, Suzanne was hiding behind the bangs. She also talked about some positive characteristics of Suzanne. She said that she was a very optimistic person, a worker bee, somebody that was a very hard worker, somebody that was extremely intelligent, somebody that was way more emotional than Barry, the more emotional partner in the relationship. Very strong character. And she was kind of like my way or the highway type, but not, she wasn't like that, like in a bad way. It was just kind of like, and as we think about what we've learned about Barry and Suzanne's relationship and the things that have come to light, from even Andy Mormon himself, the relationship wasn't perfect. There was a lot of friction in this relationship. And I find it interesting that this lady said that Suzanne's personality it's either my way or the highway, because that's kind of in my mind how I see this whole thing playing out, around Mother's Day. I think Suzanne was finally putting her foot down and saying, look, I've had enough of you, Barry, and we're done. We're done. That's my personal opinion. How do you feel, Dusty?
Yeah. Just to let you know, Tyson, you're cutting out a little bit. So maybe you can refresh your thing and then come back on or something, but it just keeps cutting out. But okay. I heard most of what you said. And I really liked how they said she had strong character. Because that was, I don't know Suzanne whatsoever. And, but I have gathered that she was a strong personality. They also said she doesn't like change, which that's been reported that she didn't want to move to Colorado. So sorry, I think I turned you off, Tice. Try that again. There you go. All right. Sorry about that. What I was saying was, yeah, I think that's better, man. You sound like a robot there for a minute.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, I was talking about how they said she doesn't like change and how she didn't want to go to Colorado to begin with. And she probably got out there cut off from what she knew about, everything she knew from her life in Indiana, and probably did put her foot down and say, hey, I'm not going to put up with this anymore. And then, we've talked about how we could see that escalating, and we've heard, different reports of how she didn't like being out there isolated from everything, bad cell phone service, which I'll vouch for. The cell phone service out there was terrible when I was out there. But yeah, it's I like to hear more about what they thought about Suzanne just by the way they analyzed her, because we really don't know much about her character and stuff except from what we hear secondhand. And I know this is just analysis and it's not 100% correct, but it gives us a better understanding of what she might have been like.
Yeah, that I found that part very interesting, but we've all kind of got an idea of what Suzanne was like, but you're right, getting these little bits and pieces from these professionals that are picking up on these cues, it brings her to life even more and humanizes her. And it also verifies at the same time that we were correct about Suzanne, and that everything that the Mormon family is saying about Suzanne is legitimate and true. That she was very sweet and that she was a very humble and meek child and very childlike even into her adult years, and so it's just neat. It's neat to see that. So, we've given those guys a shout out. We hope that you guys will go over there and take a look at that yourselves, and subscribe to their channel. It looks like they're going to be another fantastic channel that's coming up. Dusty, was there more more from your notes that you wanted to touch on there? I got some stuff about Barry. Go ahead.
Yeah, there was a few things that I liked a lot. The interrogation specialist, her name was Lena, and she analyzed a lot of your video that you took of Barry. And one of the things, she was looking at the captions that somebody had put together for that video and what Barry was saying. She was reading it off the screen, and she said he's not following the rules of grammar. And I thought that was very interesting. And she said when people do that, they're withholding something. They're not sure. They're diverting attention from something, so they're talking gibberish pretty much. You know, they're not right on what their the subject is or whatever, and then their grammar is just total. Like, I think what he said was, well, it was Mother's Day, so we had two daughters. Had two daughters. That was another thing they said, using past tense. I mean, you see that in movies all the time, or in different cases if you watch a lot of cold case stuff. But yeah, just she said 2 lines in there. She knew everything she needed to know about if she was alive or not, and if he had anything to do with it. And I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, and to take that a step further, Dusty, she also said that 99% of the time when she interrogates people and they're guilty, they will always, I think she said 99% of the time, they will start using past tense when they know that person's not coming back.
Yeah.
And she said she sees it all the time in interrogations.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what he was doing already. He was already trying to send up smoke screens. That was another thing that she talked about. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Dusty, but let me finish this thought real quick. You know, he was sending up smoke screens right from the very beginning, talking about his good buddy, George Davis, who he wanted to paint a picture of a John Rambo type figure right from the very beginning. And her question was, why? Why are we talking about George Davis? The very first thing out of your mouth is how many tours he did in Afghanistan. Who cares? What does that have to do with Suzanne?
Yeah. I liked how she said, who cares about that guy? You know, it was funny. But yeah, she was great. And I get back by the mic. She was great. I liked how she said that she used to interrogate people from the Taliban and Al-Qaeda, and her specialty was detecting deception. So that's the person. I mean, it's easy to detect deception from Barry, but when you got to, you know, when somebody comes in right there and like from 2 lines knows that he's lying, it's just really satisfying that everything we've been saying is probably right on the money. So,
you know what else makes me feel good, Dusty? And I can say this, man, publicly. I can put this on the record finally after all this time. I'm so grateful that we have that video of Barry because look, man, these ladies are jumping on it, and she only needed, just like Dusty said, she only needed 2 lines, the first 2 lines of that to know that there was already some kind of deception going on. And you know, that video really is valuable. I don't want to get off on a tangent, and I don't want to like sound like I'm bragging or tooting my own horn. I don't even want to talk about that, but I'm just so grateful that we're able to glean so much information that really is slowly incriminating Barry more and more and more as time goes on.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. So yeah, that was a great video. I'm anxious to watch the rest of it because I got about 30 minutes done and it's like an hour and 8 minutes. So I'm anxious to watch the rest of it. So.
All right, Dusty, I'm sorry to cut you off, but we got several people asking what channel it is. Is there any way you could pull up their thing and just show it here on the screen?
What, their channel or what?
Yeah, just like show their channel or like their address and how to get over there.
Yeah, give me just a second.
Did you find that, Dusty?
Yeah, it's uploading right now.
Okay.
Yeah, here it is.
Let's see. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I put one of those things in the way.
Oh, you don't really need the bottom of that anyway. It's
okay.
And up here is where you're looking, Profiler Task Force. Yeah, that's all you got to type in. You'll see these graphics. That's pretty cool. At the lion.
Oh, okay. All right, then I guess I'll throw Alf back up there again. There's our good friend Glowing Ember. I love you, Glowing Ember. I'm not sure who you are, but I love when I see that little Alf character pop up over there. So